Hello viewers. Today you join us with the wonderful Jaguar XJL Supercharged. This is Tristan's car. He's owned it for how many years?
Year and a half.
It's a 2011, right?
It's a 2011 5-liter V8 supercharged.
Do you know, the first time I actually saw one of these cars was many years ago when I was on a field trip when these were brand new. I was in Washington, D.C., and the tour guide spotted a line of cars coming, a convoy. He pointed it out and said, "Here comes the prince." And I don't know which prince it was, hopefully not Andrew. But ever since then, I thought they were the coolest cars. I thought they were just menacing looking, very long and elegant. It has a super yacht element to it that Tristan can explain.
Yes. Keen viewers may recognize this car from the first print issue of the Composed Media magazine, and also on composedmedia.com. And getting back to the super yacht aspect, when Jaguar were designing this car, one of the things that they wanted to focus on was making it look like a super yacht, as I mentioned in the piece. And if we come back here, this giant piece of body color panel is called the flying bridge that you would find on a very large super yacht.
It does have a very nautical theme to it. I feel like most of the car. It's funny because even before I knew that, I always thought it looked boat-like, you know? It's very long. It is a large boat of a vehicle. When I'm sitting in the front seat, even if it's not all the way back, I can have my legs almost completely outstretched. I'm not exactly a tall person. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", but my feet don't even touch the front. I can stretch my feet almost all the way out when I'm sitting in that seat. And when I'm in the back, I sit in the back of this car quite often, and it is truly limousine-like. He has his seat pretty far back as it is, but when I'm sitting behind him, I have plenty of legroom. It's truly a wonderful experience to be driven around in the back of this car.
One of the nice features about having the long wheelbase version is that myself having a, I guess almost toddler now, is that the rear-facing car seat does not touch the back of the passenger seat when it's all the way back, which is very important. People with children will understand.
Would you say it's an excellent family car? To me, this is like the coolest family car you can possibly have, besides maybe a Range Rover.
Oh, Range Rover is the best family car you could have. The end of it.
We're very biased.
This is good too.
Certainly, if you want something faster, this is it, I think.
Yes, when I saw this on Top Gear when Jeremy raced the Sun and won, it's very important to note. Right then and there, I knew that I wanted one. A couple years ago, the opportunity for me to actually buy one came up, and started doing a lot of research on it before I bought it. And one of the things that really stood out to me was how much detail they took in the design. The front headlights, this inward circle here will blink as the blinker, and it looks like you're looking at the eye shine of a Jaguar. And moving towards the back, the tail lights look like the claw of a Jaguar.
Yes. It has very many feline Jaguar elements built into the design, which I always thought was really cool. And the exhaust, in my humble opinion, sounds very much like a Jaguar as well. It's very aggressive.
One thing that really stands out that not a lot of other models that I looked at had is the Leaper emblem on the hood. To me, that really makes it stand out as a limousine, almost a chauffeur car.
Yes.
But if you put it in dynamic mode and put the hammer down, it is anything but a chauffeur's limousine.
And with that, I think it's a good opportunity to jump into the car and get moving.
Let's go for a drive, viewers. Welcome back, viewers. You join us in the cabin of the Jaguar XJL. And there are a couple things to point out on the inside here. One of the important factors in the XJL Supercharged is on the digital dash under the rev counter. It says Supercharged to remind you that you don't have just a regular engine, you have a 5-liter V8 supercharged engine.
One of the things I'd like to point out being in this car right now is that it is dead quiet. If we would turn off the AC.
That's the ventilated seats.
Oh. Oh, is that the ventilated seats?
Yes, they're very loud.
They're very nice as well.
They're also on full blast because we need them to be on full blast.
Warm summer day today, so it's a great thing to have ventilated seats here.
One thing I will never do when I buy another car. Any car I buy from here on out has to have heated and ventilated seats and a heated steering wheel. These are things that I cannot live without anymore.
I didn't think that that was very much a big deal, the heated steering wheel. But then sometimes I've gotten in the M6 when it's very cold outside, and my hands get cold quite quickly on that steering wheel.
And allow me to be even bougier. One thing that I hate about going from this in my wife's Range Rover, this has massage seats. The Range Rover does not.
It's just a nice thing to have. It's not a necessary thing, but if you can get a car that has massage seats, you might as well. This
being the XJL also, the rear seats are heated and cooled. They're not massaging. You would have to get a Range Rover SV Autobiography long wheelbase for that.
Or an S-Class, I think. One of the newer S-Classes, and maybe a 750, 760 IL, yes. Maybe. This car is filled with things that are unnecessary but brilliant. I think that's one of the things that I would say describes this car the most. It's unnecessary but brilliant. I mean,
yes, I mentioned that in the written piece. This car is over the top. I don't need this. It's the dumbest thing I've ever bought, and it's probably my favorite thing I've ever bought.
People are going to be shocked when they see how much you can get these for. I mean, when we were filming the exterior footage just now, a guy came by and he exclaiming at how beautiful the car was, and he was shocked when I told him it was from 2011, because it really does still look quite contemporary.
One thing that is absolutely beautiful about this car is the cockpit feel that they gave it. The wood goes around from door panel around the dashboard and onto the other door.
It is a really nice circular sort of architecture in the car. Again, it harkens back to the super yacht design of it. It reminds me of those Italian Riviera boats, whatever those are called, those beautiful small speedboats made of wood, you know, with the decking all around. Another thing that I'd like to point out are how gorgeous the vents are. And you can see here that
they are milled billet aluminum. If it gets very cold on a hot day in here, if you have the AC on max, they will get condensation.
That's really cool.
So cold.
There's so much metal, like really nice, just solid pieces of metal all around the car.
Moving to the back of the vehicle, this being the long wheelbase again, it has little tray tables for your, they're not big enough for a laptop, they're pretty slippy for a beverage. I don't know what you could use them for.
If you had a nice rubber
but
coaster.
They're there and they are a nice touch.
I actually have used my laptop there in the past when we've left work and I had to get some work done on my laptop. I just popped it up there. I did get car sick, but you know, no fault of the car.
Another thing about this vehicle is the privacy. This has a rear window shade, which is very good. It blocks the sun, and that is a very nice feature on days like today. And both of the rear windows have their own sunshades that you can pull up and down. The rear windshield one is automatic.
Just sitting in the back of this car in any occasion makes you feel like you're very important, and it's a very special place to sit. But one of my favorite things that happens while driving or while riding in the back of this car is whenever you see somebody that you know, you call out to them, and they always have the same kind of reaction, which is like, who the hell is that? Especially if you have the sunshade, no one can see into the car, so you have to kind of put it down. But it definitely feels like a a crime lord's car or some kind of mafia boss's car sitting in the back of it.
Oh, for God's sake! Just get out of the way! Don't you recognize the car?
One thing about this car that really sold me on it when I was looking is the blue and white leather interior.
Oh yes,
I had never seen an interior this color, and I just stood out to me.
It is a really special interior color.
It was special until my wife bought a Range Rover L405 with the same exact color
it is really interesting.
Interior.
Yeah.
One thing that is quite annoying about this car is the touch-sensitive interior lights. And for whatever reason, the driver one likes to come on whenever it pleases.
Right. So let me ask you
this is a Jaguar Land Rover product, after all.
Very true. Any electrical problems are a feature and not a bug. Speaking of which, how has reliability been in this boat?
Well, the water pump went about 7 months after owning it, but keep in mind this is almost 15 years old, so that's to be expected eventually. Yeah. I just had to get the AC recharged again. It's almost 15 years old. What do you want? And then everything else are things that I've done to it, like hitting potholes or getting bolts in my tire from accident debris on the parkway.
Right.
One thing I will say about it is the front tires are a 35 profile, and you living in Pittsburgh, you really got to watch. You will ruin your wheels really quickly. I've hit a pothole hard enough to put a bubble in the tire because of the profile being so low. The Alcantara headliner and Alcantara pillars.
Yeah. That is a nice
They are
tire.
both a plus and a negative, as Alcantara being Alcantara. It has come off of the side pillar over here, and I had to tuck it back into the weather stripping sometimes. But that does seem like I can fix it with some adhesive. So it's not anything major. But that just happens with Alcantara. There is no way to avoid that. After a period of time, it will sag.
If somebody is out there and they see this and they want to get one of these, what are some things that you would suggest they look for, do you think?
Well, first of all, I am of the belief that engines should not be smaller than a V8. So there are several different engines you can get in this. There is a more powerful version of this car. They did not bring very many of those to the United States. I've only seen a few on sale. They were not much more than what I paid for this one.
Wow, really?
But I did not see this until after I bought this. But they did not have as good of an interior as this, and the wheels on it, they all have the same, at least the ones that I've seen, all have the same wheels, and they do not look as good as these rims. But that version is called the Super Sports version, and it has a 525 horsepower, 5-liter V8 supercharged engine, whereas this is just, I believe, 475.
So you would definitely recommend people to get the V8.
Yes, this is why you get a V8.
But, right, it is sort of unexpectedly fast. I don't know if it feels like it shouldn't go as fast as it does.
When anybody asks me, should I get this car, I always tell them the same thing. Life is short, just buy the car.
Yeah.
Just buy the car. If you want it, buy it. If it's something that will make you happy, just buy it. Don't worry about it. It's a car. Things are going to break.
They may be a little more expensive on a British luxury vehicle, but if you really want it, if it's something that will make you happy, just be smart about what you're buying. Always look at
do
what's
your
being
research.
done with the car. Yeah, and
every car has its foibles. Just know what they are and when to expect them.
I think that's everything for today. That closes the book on the review of the Jaguar XJL V8 Supercharged. Thank you for joining us on this lovely drive, and we will see you next time.